Okay, welcome to the fourth snow survey of the season up here at Phillips Station with the California Department of Water Resources. The survey team is walking onto the course now and we'll get started shortly. The survey today is being led by Andy Rising, manager of the Snow Surveys and Water Supply Forecasting Unit with DWR. DWR has been conducting manual snow surveys up here at Phillips Station since 1941, recording both snow depth and snow water content. These measurements today are critical for water managers across the state to understand how much water will eventually make its way into our streams, rivers, and reservoirs in the spring and summer as our snowpack melts. As you may be aware today, the snow survey is taking place a few days before April 1st. Of course, we refer to this as our April measurement. April 1 is a critical measurement for state water managers, as it's usually when the snowpack reaches its peak and begins transitioning to melt. Today we're doing the snow survey a couple days before the first of the month because of forecasted atmospheric river activity that is expected to impact the state at the end of the weekend and early next week. DWR and our partners always strive to survey these courses as close to the first of the month as possible, but of course we have a 10-day window to survey each course around the first of the month so we can accommodate for any incoming weather activity that may pose travel hazards or difficulty in surveying. DWR and our partners at the California Cooperative Snow Survey Program together survey over 250 survey sites across the California Sierra Nevada. And as I mentioned earlier, DWR has been conducting surveys here at Phillips Station since 1941. This year has really been an example of how California's seasons are becoming more extreme. At the beginning of January, the snowpack was 108% of average, but then we experienced a severely dry January. So during our next survey in February, the statewide snowpack average dropped all the way down to just 69% of average. Thankfully, the state did get some bigger storms in early February that provided a boost. And of course, in March, we saw a number of atmospheric rivers providing more benefits to our statewide snowpack. As I mentioned before, this snow survey course is just one of about 260 snow courses manually measured by the California Cooperative Snow Surveys Program, which was established in 1929. Overseen by the California Department of Water Resources, the cooperative program consists of 50 different state, federal, local, and private entities that all have responsibilities for various snow courses across the state of California. And as I mentioned earlier, DWR has been measuring this course since 1941. The goal of this measurement is to be able to understand how much water is contained in the snowpack today. The snowpack provides at least a third of California's water supplies. And as we see the snowpack begin to melt in the spring and summer, it will provide flow in our rivers and refill our reservoirs and provide a critical water supply during California's dry seasons. Yeah. So again, thank you for joining us here at the April Snow Survey measurement here at Phillips Station with the California Department of Water Resources. Once again, we're here a couple days before April 1st because of expected storm activity that is forecasted to impact the state over the weekend and in the early part of next week. DWR and our partners with the California Cooperative Snow Surveys Program always strives to measure our courses as close to the first of the month as possible, but we usually do that within a 10-day window around the first of the month so we can accommodate for any forecasted weather conditions that may make traveling and surveying difficult or hazardous. We refer to the April 1st average because, both in terms of water content and snow depth, it's typically when the snowpack reaches its peak in the Sierra Nevada. Due to the angle of the sun and the days getting longer, which means more sunlight on the snowpack, snowmelt really begins to accelerate around this time of year, and also the storms that provide our snowpack become less frequent. So historically, the size of the snowpack around the 1st of April, is a good indication of how much water we'll have in our frozen reservoir for the rest of the season. You see that big blue tube that our surveyors are using to measure the snowpack today? That is a tool developed in the early 1900s by Dr. James Church, a professor at the University of Nevada, Reno, as they were trying to solve water rights issues around the Lake Tahoe Basin. Dr. Church developed this tool and the method for measuring the snowpack, which measures in inches how deep the snowpack is, and then the tube is weighed to determine the density of the snowpack, or how much water is in it, which is the key measurement that water managers are really interested in. Again, welcome to the fourth snow survey of the season here at Phillips Station. Today we're here a few days before April 1, of course, because of forecasted storm activity that's expected to impact the state and the California Sierra Nevada mountains in the early part of next week. Today you'll see Andy Rising, manager of Snow Surveys and Water Supply Forecasting Unit with DWR, leading our survey out there. Typically, measurements are taken at 6 different locations along the snow course. All the data from those locations are then averaged together to give us an average of how much both snow depth and water content is in the snowpack at this location. The Phillips Snow Course is just one of 260 snow courses that are measured across the Sierra Nevada by DWR and our partners with the California Cooperative Snow Surveys Program. The California Cooperative Snow Surveys Program is an entity of over 50 different entities consisting of state, federal, and local partners that are responsible for measuring different courses across the state. And then that data is contributed to DWR's water supply forecasts, which are critical measurements for water managers to understand how much snowpack will eventually translate into snowmelt runoff that will help fill our reservoirs and rivers during the dry season in California. Again, we're out here a couple days early before the 1st of April in preparation of some atmospheric river activity later this week. However, DWR will be providing an update on the statewide snowpack on April 1 next Tuesday to give an idea of how we're looking as a state with our snowpack on that date. In a few minutes, once they conclude surveying all 6 locations, our surveyors will gather the data and average it for this location. We'll briefly cut away and then we'll come back and DWR Snow Surveys and Water Supply Forecasting Unit Manager Andy Rising will make some comments about the results that he found today and how our statewide snowpack is looking for this season. Thank you again for joining us. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the live snow survey up here at Phillips Station near Lake Tahoe with the California Department of Water Resources. The survey is being led by Andy Rising, manager of the Snow Surveys and Water Supply Forecasting Unit. This is the fourth snow survey of the season up here that DWR has conducted at Phillips Station. And as the April survey is a key indicator of the water supply that California will have for the rest of the dry season, the DWR has been conducting manual snow surveys up here at Phillips Station since 1941, and today it's just one of over 260 snow courses that are measured across the state by DWR and our partners at the California Cooperative Snow Surveys program. You see here staff weighing the snow tube to determine exactly how much water content is in the snowpack. Key data that the surveyors collect on the field is how deep the snowpack is, but also critically how much water is in the snowpack. A snowpack can vary with densities, so it's important for water managers to understand not just how deep the snow is in that location, but how much water is in it as well. In a moment, we'll cut away as the surveyors average all their location surveys, and then we'll briefly pause and come back live for Andy Rising and staff to provide some comments on the results today and how the statewide snowpack is looking. Who am I looking at? Let me know when we're on. Now? Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Phillips snow course for the fourth and important April snow survey of the season up here at Phillips Station. My name is Jason Entz. I'm an information officer with the California Department of Water Resources. In a moment, I'm going to welcome up Andy Rising, the manager of DWR's Snow Surveys and Water Supply Forecasting Unit, to go over today's results and discuss where the state snowpack is. But first, of course, I'd like to address that we are obviously here a couple days early before April 1. DWR and our partners with the California Cooperative Snow Surveys Program always strives to measure all the snow courses as close to the first of the month as possible. But we do always use a 10-day window to measure, around the first of the month to measure the snow courses so that we can accommodate any weather in the forecast. We're out here a few days early before next Tuesday because of anticipated forecasted atmospheric river activity that's expected to come in at the early part of next week. Of course, we want to keep all of our staff and media safe, so we arrange these snow surveys to avoid traveling in extreme or hazardous weather. But of course, saying that, the water supply forecast that water managers depend on does incorporate some of the precipitation in the forecast that's expected. So the forecasted precipitation we're expected to get next week will be considered in the water supply forecast that DWR develops. So going back, I would like to thank our partners at the California Cooperative Snow Surveys Program, which consists of over 50 different agencies across the state that collectively, along with DWR, measure over 260 snow courses just like this one across the state that help inform DWR's water supply forecasts that are critical for water managers to understand just how much of the snowpack we have here today will eventually translate into water in our reservoirs and rivers during the spring and summer months. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and welcome up Andy Rising, manager of DWR's Snow Surveys and Water Supply Forecasting Unit. Andy?
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, my name is Andy Rising, A-N-D-I-Y-R-E-I-S-I-N-G. So I'll just hit right to the survey results. Our survey here today recorded a snow depth of 39.5 inches and a water content of 17 inches. And this represents 70% of the April 1st average. So that's a little bit lower than the statewide. But we do refer to the April 1st average because that's typically when we peak. Our snowpack increases during the winter months, and about April 1st, the angle of the sun is such that the radiation starts to melt off faster than anything that might accumulate after April 1st. And this year seems to be no different. We did have a little bit of a peak last week, and some of it started melting off. But with the storms that Jason just talked about, we may reach that level or higher again. So that's our hope, is that we'll get a little bit more before this season ends. And based on this morning's data from our automated snow network, snow sensor network, the statewide snowpack stands at 90% of average. And similar to all year, it's been trending that the north part of the state is higher than the southern parts, and that's again the case today. We got about 108% of normal in the north, and about 83 in the central and 81% in the south. So those two regions are still lagging the north as far as snowpack goes. Again, we hope that the storms that come next week may increase that statewide. Last year, right here, our April 1st survey resulted in a water content of 27.5 inches, and that was about 113% of average for this location. And the statewide snowpack at that time was 110%. So we're lagging a little bit behind last year, which was a pretty average year. So we're slightly below average. This will be the third year in a row that the snowpack conditions at the start of April are near or above the average. And as Jason mentioned earlier, there's more in the forecast. So we hope to add a few more inches before the year is out. And while the state of our snowpack is great news for water supply in the near term, some parts of the state had a big deficit. Los Angeles area and the Southern California area in general are really standing at about 50% of their average precipitation, so well behind. And we know future years won't all unfold like this one has. And in addition, we know that floods and droughts can happen at any time. It is the California way of life to expect that. And the unpredictable wet and dry swings we saw within this year are a good reminder that the next flood or drought could come at any time. And with the slow progression of higher average annual temperatures, it is not uncommon that the benefits of a good water year can be erased by hot and dry weather, which could still be in our spring ahead. So while it's positive news today, we know that our luck could run out and we could fall into a drought anytime.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Andy. Appreciate that update. Again, as we're here a couple days early, I did want to state briefly that DWR will also be sending out an update on the statewide snowpack in a couple days on April 1st. Don't expect very much of a change, but we'll see if we get a little bit more benefit from these storms. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and take questions from the media if anyone has any questions. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So the question about general, what can we expect going into the summer with the snowpack? And of course, our reservoirs are still above average too. So Andy, if you want to give a brief summary of what we can expect with these conditions we're seeing here today.
Sure. Yeah, so, at a 90% snowpack, that's pretty good. We've had, back in 2015, 5% of the annual snowpack on April 1st. So we're at 90%. So we survived that. 90% is really pretty good. So I'm feeling generally positive, especially earlier in the season. There were some indications that maybe this would be a drier year and that we would shut off precipitation after January. But fortunately, the storm doors have opened up in both February and March and allowed us to accumulate more during this year. So the reservoirs are currently almost all above their normal average at this time of the year. So that's great heading into the summer. We'll just have to see how this does melt off. If it comes off really quickly, with the heat, any heat that might come early in the season, that's not great, but it's really hard to predict how this will come off. But it has been melting. Over the last week, as I said, the soil was very wet underneath, indicating that there's a lot running. You can see the creeks all full, so a lot of the pack is ready to melt at the lower elevations. But higher elevations, it should stick around a little longer because it's at higher elevation and stays colder longer. Does that answer? Anything else? Yeah. Okay, great.
Excellent question. So about this specific location up here in Phillips, just a little bit outside of Lake Tahoe, can you talk a little bit about the watershed that this water snowpack here at this location will eventually feed into?
Absolutely, yeah. So this is in the American Basin, and all this runoff is feeding into creeks and eventually the American River that eventually flows into the Sacramento River and hits the Delta. So it'll hit Folsom. Before it's distributed to either, the users of water, agencies that need the water, or feeding fish flows, environmental flows, things like that. So, but we measure all the way from the north in the Trinity Mountains all the way down south to the Kern River basin. So, I say we, our collective cooperative snow surveys program. 50 agencies help us gather this data, send it back to our shop where we do some forecasting and predict water supply for every major river basin in California. Los Angeles LADWP does their own forecasting. They send us their forecasts for down there, but for the rest of the state, we do most of the forecasting, and all rivers are represented. So even on the east side, we'd have some surveyors that measure the Truckee River and the Carson and Walker rivers. So. Yeah.
So for Sacramento, like drinking water so we got like the lakes that are in Shasta and the snowpack there here that feed Sacramento, like basically water Sacramento, the population.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the case?
That is the case, yeah. Do you want to?
So again, summarizing, we're up here at Phillips on the American River Basin. That'll eventually reach Folsom Reservoir. And so for the Sacramento region, this is a pretty important watershed.
Right. Yeah, the Sacramento system is above average. So that's up by Shasta. Trinity River is well above average. And the Feather River, which feeds Oroville Reservoir, is also above average. So that's very healthy. Those are the two largest reservoirs in our state. So that's really good news.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, so Andy, I wanted to talk a little bit about how the water supply forecast that, of course, water managers depend on, those also incorporate forecasted precipitation. So the data we're gathering up here today obviously won't include the snow that's going to fall in a few days, but can you talk a little bit about how your water supply forecasts incorporate the rain or snow that may arrive a few days after today?
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, ideally, Jason said we try and measure as close to the first of month as possible. That allows us to be kind of standardize our forecasts throughout the state. But there's inevitably weather that prevents people from getting to the courses on the first. Some agencies measure 10 or 15 courses, so logistically trying to plan that is really difficult. Our forecasting methods in the past used to just cut off on the first of the month, and we didn't look forward at future precipitation. But in the last several years, we've added in about 6 days looking ahead, considering that future precipitation, because our first of month forecasts are issued on the 6th business day, which is often the 8th or 9th of the month. You see that 8-day delay, and that we're already out of sync with what weather has happened after the first if we didn't take that into account. That was by choice, but we did find that by adding that 6-day precipitation, our forecasts were better. Sometimes they wouldn't be, but in this case, we saw that across the board, including about 6 days of precipitation, would increase the effectiveness and accuracy of our forecasts moving forward. So starting April 1st, we'll be collecting all this data from throughout the state, indexing it and putting it into our forecast numbers, and then adding a little bit of precipitation that we see in the forecasts on that date. So maybe the 3rd or 4th of the month, we'll take a look at what has fallen in those first 3 or 4 days of the month, look ahead another 6 days, and perhaps add that in to our forecast such that it's not out of date when we issue it on April 8th.
Thank you. Yes, one more question.
I don't know if it's too presumptuous to ask, but would this mean that we are not in a drought for the summer?
So question about, what the summer is going to look like if we can think of drought. I know you mentioned earlier that drought could always be around the corner in California, but can you talk a little bit about, having the fairly good news that we're at 90% today and what that means kind of for next year too?
Yeah, I mean, drought is it can be very regional. So I think throughout the Sierras, we probably will not be in drought for this year. If it does happen to melt and get really hot and dry out, there is a possibility that some areas may be. Southern California may be able to declare a drought because of the lack of precipitation that they've gotten over the year. If you look on some of the precipitation maps, how dry it really is, it's a possibility. I'm not the one to declare a drought, but that is a possibility in some areas of the state. But for the north and the central and southern Sierra, I think we're probably pretty good.
Thank you, Andy. So if there's not any more questions from anyone, I'd like to go ahead and remind everyone too that DWR will be providing an update on the statewide snowpack next Tuesday on April 1st. We don't expect very much to change, but we will be providing an update on that day, as well as a Zoom media briefing. If you're a member of the media interested in joining that, you can go ahead and send any questions as well to media@water.ca.gov, and we'll get back to you. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us up here today, and we'll see you here next year at Phillips Station. Thank you.
Thanks.